Good evening and thanks for joining us, Moses. As we just saw, the Bobcats kind of bringing it into the home stretch before playoffs.
Yeah, they just got a few games remaining before they head down to, like you say, the playoffs, and it should be interesting. Mike Baden catches up with the team and a couple of the players, so we'll have to stay tuned for that in sports. We got plenty of other information too, and some interesting news along front the other parts of the sports world.
It's been a pretty strong season. We must be looking forward to the playoffs.
Oh, it should be good.
And Gerard, nothing to complain about in the weather.
No, certainly not. I keep thinking back to last year at the same time. Maybe I should stop.
Yes, maybe.
Just deal with what we get when it comes down on each day, and we'll be fine with that. We've been doing pretty well. Let's see what we got today, actually. In this hour, we're actually still at the high temperatures that we arrived at today. +2 in our area, 68% is that humidity. The winds out of the west-southwest, and generally they've had a kind of a southerly heading for most of the day across the region, getting anywhere from 4 to about 18 kilometers an hour. So as we look at it here, those are the high temperatures still in this hour, increasing cloud cover as it goes along, and we do have some precipitation in the forecast to talk about, but the details of all of that coming up a little later in the cast.
Longtime MLA Lloyd Snelgrove is finally speaking out after his sharp exit from the PC party Friday rather. NEWCAP News spoke to Snelgrove, who had some fiery words about what pushed him to his breaking point. Kelsey Bloxham reports.
Irreconcilable differences. It's often the reason cited on divorce papers, but for Lloyd Snelgrove, it was exactly that, saying he had tried to work things out.
Some of the methods that were used in the leadership that I think will ultimately come back to very much haunt the Conservative Party. I think they have to really address the whole leadership process. But the promising taxpayers' money for people to buy votes in a political party crossed the line for me.
News spread Friday morning coming directly from the PC party, causing many to think Snelgrove had been asked to leave. But according to Snelgrove, that was not the case.
It had absolutely nothing to do with any of the party or government executives.
He says his intentions all along were to step down once a new candidate had been chosen for his riding.
I needed to be out of the way. You can't have a campaign in my mind be effective if I'm out there saying I don't like this, I don't like that. And he's got a campaign for some of the changes. Directly after stepping away from the PCs, rumors swirled he might join the Wild Rose Party. Snelgrove admits he did meet with party leader Danielle Smith. I have been very, I think, forceful in some of my criticisms of the other parties, but it's just politics. And I wouldn't discount. I mean, obviously the only party that would be conservative and for me would be the Wild Rose Party, but they also have a candidate in their local riding. As for his future, Snelgrove says he wants to take time to reconnect with his family and find something he loves doing. Kelsey Bloxham, NEWCAP News.
Edmonton police are on the lookout for a potential child abductor spotted in Vermilion. Police have connected Wayne Warren Buchanan with 3 attempted abductions. RCMP say in mid-January, the 67-year-old approached a 4-year-old boy in the West End and asked him to go home with him. Luckily, in all 3 different cases, parents were close by to intervene. Police say Buchanan doesn't have a fixed address and has been seen as far away as Vermilion and Athabasca. Warrants have been issued and charges are pending. Now to the latest on a Lac La Biche boy trapped on a school bus for hours. The Northern Lights School Division has launched an investigation into why a 4-year-old boy was left alone for so long. The boy boarded the bus Thursday morning, but the preschooler never got off. He wasn't found until the driver was getting ready for his afternoon run, nearly 7 hours later.
Right now, school officials are speaking with the driver and with fellow students that were on the bus, trying to piece together all what happened that day.
Matters like this very seriously. It suspended the driver indefinitely. She says there is a protocol to follow to avoid these incidents.
Northern Lights School Division does have a specific policy that entails all bus drivers should conduct a bus and seat check after each shift.
The boy was treated for dehydration and slight hypothermia. Alberta's efforts to bring to light a hushed subject have been paying off. As Elise Cox explains, new stats show a decrease in sexually transmitted infections across the province.
The Alberta 2010 annual report on sexually transmitted infections has been released and shows there were 1,000 less STI cases from a peak of 17,000 in 2009.
I believe numbers have decreased mostly because of education, and I think more people are, at least the people in the high risk group, the younger people and the early middle-aged people are taking better care of themselves, using more protection and prevention.
There's something I want to share with you tonight. It's free and easy to try. Syphilis.
Prevention and protection is why Alberta launched a province-wide 5-year action plan in May 2011 to educate and raise awareness, like their syphilis campaign. Dr. Saeed believes Alberta is taking the right steps towards prevention.
Any amount of money put in education in any sphere of healthcare or public health is going to have its benefits. If it's targeted for certain things, in this case STIs, it's definitely going to help.
And it's not just Alberta. The Prairie North Health Region says numbers are high in Saskatchewan and they are taking the necessary steps to help lower the number of STIs.
For Prairie North Health Region, we certainly identified that as an issue here, and we have implemented or looking at how do we increase access for clients to testing and to treatment and to actually counseling, so that looking at ways to prevent actual infections with sexually transmitted infections.
Prairie North has started a new initiative where they've recently hired an outreach worker for the city of Lloydminster to help clients get access to services and encourage community awareness.
Education is the key. The more education we do, the better chances of the population remaining healthy.
Elise Cox, NEWCAP News.
A happy ending to a news story we brought you last week. A North Battleford homeless shelter will be able to keep its doors open thanks to community and city council support. This is the temporary shelter's second year of operation. It's open during the winter months, giving the homeless a warm place to stay. Due to a lack of funds, the shelter was slated to close its doors today, but there's now enough money to keep it operating for the rest of the season.
City Council made a resolution that they were going to give us $6,000, and also one of our community members also matched their $6,000. It felt wonderful. I mean, it was very exciting for us, and it made a lot of people happy.
The shelter is still looking for donations. If you'd like to help out, you can call that number right there on your screen. Well, those needing X-ray services in Maidstone will have to look elsewhere as of this Friday. The facility is undergoing a much-needed $300,000 renovation. Residents are being asked to go to Battlefords Union Hospital or Lloydminster Hospital until the complex reopens in early March. Walk-ins are welcome at both facilities. The SPCA has an overwhelming number of dogs at the shelter and is encouraging anyone looking for a dog to turn to them. Jennifer and Allison give us all the details and introduce us to a very energetic pup and a tiny kitten with a big personality on this week's Pet Project.
Hi and welcome to this week's Pet Project. I'm at the Lloydminster and District SPCA with Jennifer, and this is Cleo.
Yes, Cleo is an 8-month-old German Shepherd cross. She has just recently been spayed. She is now microchipped, up to date on all of her vaccines. All she needs is a rabies vaccine. She's an incredibly social girl. She has so much fun playing with other dogs, with cats, kids, people. She just kind of wants to meet everybody and say hi. She does have, a lot of energy, just as any 8-month-old dog would at this point, but I think a good hour walk a day would do her just fine. So for anybody that's interested in this beautiful little girl, best thing to do is just to come out to the shelter, meet her, take her out for a walk. She's sure to capture your heart.
And this here is Perry.
Yes, the girls here at the shelter, some of them like to call him Periwinkle because of his color. He is 8 weeks old. He just came up for adoption today. Domestic medium hair. He's had his first 2 vaccines. Will need a rabies vaccine, and of course will need to be neutered as soon as he's old enough. He's a little boy, but he's got a big personality. He loves to play, he loves to cuddle. He's a very social little kitten. If anybody's interested in Perry, I think he's gonna go fast. He's just so adorable. Best thing to do is just to come down to the shelter and meet this little guy. And if he's not the little guy for you, we have many other kittens and cats that are currently available for adoption right now.
So Jennifer, you were telling me you guys have 29 dogs here at the shelter?
Yeah, we do. It is actually extremely overwhelming right now, the amount of dogs that we have up for adoption. And we have quite a fair amount that maybe didn't get the best chance at life from the beginning. These are dogs that they just require an owner that has the time and dedication to put into them. But I think when you adopt a dog from a shelter like the SPCA here, you know, whatever time and commitment you put into them, they're going to give you that back tenfold. They are so thankful when they are adopted, and they just need a chance. So really, for anybody that's out there that's willing to give a chance to a dog that deserves a good quality of life, we're really hoping that they'll come out to the SPCA and see all the dogs that we have up for adoption.
Perfect. And thanks for joining us on this week's Pet Project.
The Pet Project is sponsored by Quick Pick Waste Disposal. Locally owned and operated and serving urban, rural, and industrial customers in Lloydminster and region.